In this lesson, we're going to talk about how to develop a sketch, a design with various objects that are made available to you, including an ADU, a pergola, a louver pergola, and also a swimming pool. And there will be many more objects that you can use as well, but these are just some of the elements that you can take a look at. So to enable any of the elements that are available within InQI, all you have to go is to go through the layers. Now, on this layer, we are going to talk about developing a new home or ADU, a new pergola, and also a pool. There's a whole bunch of other items that are there as well, and we're going to talk about them one at a time. Let's go develop our plan. So in the previous lessons, we changed the areas to cobblestone and pavers, and let's discuss, perhaps this client or maybe you're the homeowner want to see how the pool going to look like. Can we have a pool in the backyard, and then a pergola and an ADU, maybe you're going to be a pool house, right? Now, let's do one at a time. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to put a pool in place, right? So the pool is enabled here now. So we click on it, and we basically do a rectangular pool. With the pool, you can drag it. Once this gets to be on the place, then you can rotate it around and place it as you wish. We have defined a number of different pools that are prefabricated. Like these are leisure pool ones. You can also design your own, right? There's no limit. So we're going to select, for example, this one. Is going to place it in the place, is going to geolocate it in the place, right? And then you have the ability to kind of rotate it around however you wish. Let's just rotate it to be kind of in parallel with the house, right? We kind of get it to parallel and then move it to the location we want. Let's say it's going to be out here. Right? That leaves enough space around it as well. So that's that. Now, when you click on it, you notice that it will give you additional information. For example, you would take this much cut and fill to put it in place, right? And it has all the information about it, where it comes from and all those things about it. So we just placed the pool, and this pool is not just highlighting an area, but it has various aspects of it put in place as well. Now, the next thing we want to do is we want to see what's going to look like if you put in an ADU next to it. ADU laws are pretty clear. A lot of people use it as pool houses and so forth. So California law, and it might be different depending on the state that you're in. The California law says that you can be within the 4-foot setback. This is a 5-foot setback, so we are still okay. We're going to go in and select the ADU. Same concept. We drag it and we drop it, and then we can move it around, right? So the same concept applies here. On an ADU or a home, once you select it, there are some predefined ones, and there will be more, or you can develop your own. So we're just going to use this one. It's going to put it in place. And as it puts it in place, it's going to come up, and it has a little room enabled in there, like layout. And we can now turn it and move it to location that we want. This is a 5-foot setback, so it's pretty good, a decent location for it to be. We click on save, and it puts it in place. And the same concept applies. I can now also go in the pergola. So on the pergola itself, I would do the same thing. I drag a pergola, right? And same concept applies. And by now you notice that things are repeating themselves, right? There is a mechanized metal louver pergola defined, or you can design your own. You select this one, and we simply go in and put that, turn it the way we want. And this one, perhaps you want to attach it to the house. And when you do here, you go to the part, and because we can roof mount it, and I'm going to increase the size to be like 12 feet tall, right? And I'm going to save it. Now, I can do even further, but you're seeing that within past few minutes, I basically use objects, use the components, and developed a nice little layout. Now, it might not look anything fancy, but Have in mind everything to scale. You can import, you can export this out to AutoCAD and do the rest of the work with it as you wish. But we can do even more. Now, we're going to go to Sketch, and we're going to draw a line here and going to say, you know what, maybe this client wants to have behind the pool a deck area. So now we have behind the pool a deck area. You know, you have seen this before in the previous lesson. And we will call this the pool deck. Right? And it's 584 square foot. Now, all of these are basically as fast as you just saw me do in the last few minutes. And what it does is now as I placed all of these items, now I can take it out to a site plan and take it to AutoCAD and do more with it. Or I can do more. But let's talk about it. First, let's talk about what is the export going to look like, right? On the export, there are a bunch of options here we're not going to select because it's going to generate some floor plans and so forth. You can try that on your own if you wish. I'm going to do a PDF, and remember, I can do a CAD file too, right? So let's go ahead and export this information. So depending on how many objects you have on the screen, it might take a little bit, but it generated a PDF, and remember, it can be a CAD file. And if I open it, you notice that I basically now have the entire layouts that I wanted to put into my plan, right? So I have now this layout that has all of the aspects of what I was looking at. And it is to scale, and it is basically a layout that you can use. But more importantly, if you are going to edit this further in a CAD file or Vectorworks or SketchUp and all that, you can also export it and do it. But it is all to the scale. In the next lesson, we're going to talk about 3D view of the same object. So have in mind, not only is the site plan, is the sketching tool, it's the ability to do design with existing object. It's kind of all in once, and it might be 80% of what you need. The other 20%, you can take it to AutoCAD or SketchUp or Vectorworks or all these other elements. In the next lesson, we're going to talk about planting and hydrozones, as well as possibly 3D view, or that might be another lesson.